Oh, hello. I'm Pete Obstorff, and this is the making of my film, Get Your Wallet Out. The idea behind Get Your Wallet Out is I wanted to explore how we can develop and evolve on current on-screen media, basically. Because for me, current existing forms such as, film, gaming, even though that's now relatively modern comparatively, it's all very linear, quite dull. I mean, for me, it's very much I'm the user, there's the screen, and never shall the twain meet. The point of this project, for me, it was an exploration, an experiment, so to speak, of how we as users, consumers, even just digital enthusiasts can bridge that gap between me, you, the user, and the medium, and how we can either become emotionally, physically, even psychologically attached to what we're viewing and experiencing. Now, the installation. This was the area of the project that was a little bit out of my technical knowledge, really. I mean, I'm all right with technology. It's just the more programming side behind it. Essentially, what I ended up doing was, imagine I've got a screen in what is essentially a dark corridor. Within that corridor, there are 3 pressure pads. Each pressure pad is linked to one stream of footage that are playing. Imagine they're layered up like that. You've got extreme close-up, mid-shot, and as the user moves between them, it would adjust accordingly based on what they stepped on. I had the restaurant noises, so to speak, of the restaurant, like, behind you, and I had the dialogue that was being spoken coming out the speakers, and these were edited so the levels were slightly different based on which stream of footage was playing at any given moment. Like I said, it was quite crude. It's not quite as effective as I'd hoped it would be. In your head these things are always really like, it's like I'm in the room. But nah, in reality it didn't really work, to be honest. Footage-wise, it was fine. I just didn't do enough with the sound. I think what I could have done when filming it was maybe film it sort of stereophonic, use 2 microphones like that, record like that, so that you can tweak the you can spatialise the sound, basically. But I didn't do that. I only used I only recorded one stream of sound, which pretty much limits you. You can't spatialise one stream of sound. At best, you can bend it, but again, you live and learn. I mean, I was quite disappointed that I overlooked that fact. The sound, I'd concentrated so much on the image side of things that I'd overlooked the importance of sound and how, without it, the whole experiment was not moot, but not as effective, so to speak. So that's definitely something I'm gonna focus on more when I look back at this in years to come. I mean, at the time of filming, I hadn't really planned what my installation was going to be. I mean, I was going to maybe at one point have 3 separate screens, each one dedicated to one of the characters. I was going to maybe spatialise it so that I didn't have just 3 timelines. I had 9 different streams of footage given within little areas within this space that the user could jump between. I was maybe going to have even a screen bent round a table in a circular fashion, which I was going to project stitch 3 different streams of footage together. I mean, all of these are all I did. So I suppose the one thing I tried to ensure, again, by not stylising my footage too much, was that it was quite diverse. I could apply it in many different ways, because sometimes by over planning, you can sometimes get a bit headstrong and go full steam ahead towards an idea, and then when you realise that one can't quite pull off, your footage is useless because you've over-planned. It's too specific to one idea. So I suppose the best thing I did was that I filmed it in a way that meant I wasn't pinholed to one idea, one concept. I could develop that consistently afterwards whilst I was putting it together. Overall, the outcomes were pretty good. I mean, I like what I produced. I mean, it's pretty bland. I mean, it's 2 sides to every coin, really. I mean, I said I didn't want to over-stylise it because it would detract from the immersive experience, but at the same time, without the immersive experience, it's quite a bland scene. So I'm in two minds as to whether it was a success or not. It's what I wanted, so in that respect, it's, you know, it's what I produced, but it's not, you know, let's be honest, it's no Tarantino. So I'm a little bit disappointed, really. I think I underestimated my capabilities and overestimated how effective it would be as a scene. I quite enjoyed the colorisation of it. I enjoyed tweaking the colours and trying to give it that sort of cinematic feel rather than just home video. You know, I tried to tweak the lighting, tweak the levels, colour balance, just to try and give it that sort of cinematic feel, which I think by and large it went well. It's got a nice grainy aesthetic to it. I mean, ideally I wanted to film it all in high definition, but I was unable to get hold of, due to my multi-camera filming, I was unable to actually get 4 cameras I needed for the length of time I needed, which is understandable. You know, there's more than me on the course, so it's stuff that was really out of my hands. Really, I mean, I was quite happy with what I had to film with. It wasn't the best, but it was certainly good enough to do what I wanted. Now, relating this back to my initial goal was creating an immersive experience. The word immersion, you know, it's like I said earlier, it's physical, emotional, psychological. For me, this immersive experience was about the space. It was about having what was on screen directly relating to what the user was doing. So I wanted the user within this space to jump around. You know, I wanted them to have a feel that they had direct control. That's what it's all about. It's about giving the user a sense of control over the situation.
Yeah, it was really fun actually. Yeah, really something really different. It's definitely not your everyday cinema experience.
It was done very nicely, the transitions between the shots.
In that, the actual experience and the aesthetic of doing it, that it felt a lot better. Like, it felt good, it felt really enjoyable.
It adds a new dimension to the viewer's experience.
I mean, it's quite bizarre, like how you move back and forth and like the sound changes just like you would in obviously a normal room.
Because I haven't really viewed an interactive film before, like ever, so it's pretty interesting to view. Like, it kind of takes you by surprise when you're kind of trying to figure out where I should go next.
And like the fact, like the shots pan across differently as well. It is like real life, but obviously it's a cinema, so it's really bizarre.
I've never interacted with.
Never. That experience was just
mind-blowing.
Because of the way it was working, the more closer I felt I was literally in the scene, and that worked incredibly well.